right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Ben's Brick Designs. Thank you for being here. Thanks for tuning in. Good evening, Missy. Welcome to Thursday's stream. Together today, we will be building a Star Wars thing. It's the 25th anniversary of Lego Star Wars. So all those sets that you've seen out and about, the R2 that we did a couple weeks ago, and all the MIDI scale sets, and the Tantive 4 hallway, the boarding stuff with Vader and some of the officers and whatnot. It's all part of the 25 years of Lego Star Wars. So that's happening. That's why we got all these Star Wars sets. And I expect something larger to be coming out on May the 4th. I don't know what it is. I think I've heard somewhere that it's going to be a UCS TIE Interceptor. And that's all the information I have about that. So, and I think that's just guesses. I don't know if we know for sure. I haven't heard. If you guys know, let me know. If it's official, if it's a leak, I don't care to know about it. What's up, Greg? Saw Ghostbusters tonight. Very cool. I want to see that soon. It looks pretty cool. I've just been very busy lately. And I'll talk about some of that tonight. So I wanted to get started, and I'll show you guys what we got. So this is the gift with purchase that you can get with $80. It's a little spring garden house. It's a little shape of an egg kind of thing. Comes with a couple little animals and some flowers and stuff. I'm going to add this to my giant box of oddly large amount of Easter sets that I have, and put these out somewhere. And then for $40 or $50, I think, I forget what it is, but you also get a little poly bag, little creator set. So this for 80 bucks, you get two, you get an extra, however many pieces this is, 350 pieces. So not terrible. That's pretty good, right? That's pretty good. I like that. You also had Hooters today. All right. I haven't been to a Hooters in, ever. Never been to a Hooters. So this is the actual set. It is 650 pieces. We might get through this tonight. I'm thinking that it might happen. So I'm just going to aim to do it. If we go over a little bit, that's fine. I'm not terribly worried about us getting through this. It's not a very large set. What I wanted to show you guys first is something I've been working on. So as you know, I've got most of my Horizon Zero Dawn stuff on the way to finish. But what I've been working on is some of the other background elements, including the sign for the background. So this is the logo Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm very happy with this. I think it turned out great. I need a couple wedge plates in here that I ran out, so I have them on order, and I have a tile here that I need, and some of these round wedge plates behind the O. But overall, I like it. I think it turned out good. I just have to figure out a way to make this vertical and sit behind the scenery. I've got an idea for one plate that I've got going on right now, but it puts it very low behind the backdrop. What I might try to do is put this on some gray or black plates, and kind of, or thicker white plates behind all this, and kind of hoist them up on some transparent bricks, and just kind of have it kind of floating behind the backdrop. We'll see. I don't know if the backdrop's going to happen or not. It really depends on if I get enough pieces for it. I want to get the scenery done first, and I'm kind of stretched to the limit of what I've got in terms of like the colors and the pieces, and how high I can go, and how stable it all is. But it's all done on individual base plates, so it's not like there are any base plates tied together. There were two, and I took those apart, pulled all the chunks off that were holding them together, and kind of built it separately so they all fit separately. I'd like to go back once all the scenery's done and add a few more things, try to stick some more people in there, some more plants, and maybe some animals, bandit camp, maybe a couple other ruins, some ruined cars, things like that. I've got one building in there. I was going to do two, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. So we'll figure it out. Anyway, let's crack into this. This is the Tantive 4, and the name itself has a bit of a history. So we'll go ahead and start building, and we'll talk about the history of this ship. This is the absolute first ship that we see in Star Wars. So if you're starting from the beginning and you start from Star Wars, or as it's known, episode 4. So 6 bags, we might get through this. I'll do my best. Just put the bags over here. These don't look super complicated. Half of it's a stand, 7 bags. So most of it's a stand, I think. So we'll see how well we get through all this. Here's our instructions. Oh, they have stickers. Man. Well, this is going to be a display, so these are going to be stickered. I was really hoping for no stickers. That's disappointing. Come on, Lego. And they're probably on tiles too, right? Like you couldn't print. That's 8 different, that's 8 different tiles, and you can use that for other spaceships. Surely. Oh, well, if they got leaked, I'm not looking at it. But if once they're official, I'll talk about them. So I'll put this over here. We'll get that scanned later. I try my best, since I'm technically an ambassador. I'm not really supposed to talk about leaks. So if you guys know about it, that's fine. You can talk about it in chat all you want. I'm going to try not to. We see them come across the land, but that doesn't mean we communicate with our communities about it. I can't bring it to a lug meeting. If I were a fan media and had a channel that was my primary communication tool for Lego stuff, I couldn't talk about it. So, just kind of a thing. And the reason being is that until it's confirmed, the people who do use news like that to promote it and use those promotions to drive business to their channel require some time to be able to do that. So anyway, yeah, good enough, fair enough. All right, so excuse me. So this is the Tantive 4, and it's pronounced Tantive 4. Tantive. Now I know everybody and their brother pronounces it Tantive, but it was made canon from the pronunciation. The first time we heard it was in the NPR radio drama where they first named the ship. When we first see the ship, the only thing we know that it's called is a blockade runner. Then sometime later, we knew that it was a Corellian corvette. So, it is a Corellian design. It's there's some things that are very Corellian about it. This long axis with these kind of tubular. You can't really see my mouse over here, so that's kind of unfortunate. There we go. The way it's almost like a cathedral, and it's made like a plus sign. So if you notice, a lot of Corellian ships have like kind of a spine and then like these cylinder things kind of coming off each side. They're also known for really, really powerful engines and very customizable ships. Again, this is 25 years of Star Wars Lego, and off we go. So back in the late 70s, the public radio station NPR did an NPR radio drama, Star Wars, based on characters and situations created by George Lucas. And it was a 13-part radio drama of basically Star Wars, right? From the beginning, where the ship is flying over Tatooine, till the end when they blow it up and get medals. The radio drama actually starts out a little bit before that, and it kind of goes through some of the scenes that were cut from the movies. So there's a lot of Luke going into not Anchorhead, but it's not Tashi Station. It may be Tashi Station. um, to talk with Fixer, Deke, Windy, and Cammy. And they're his friends, right? They're a bunch of gearheads that hang out at this garage, basically. And, they drink and they play games and whatever. So there's a bit of intro. Then there's a little bit more intro of Princess Leia and her dealings with the senators in the area and some of the local governors and things like that. A lot of that did not survive and become canon, but it was kind of interesting to listen to and read or hear. Sorry, I'm going to turn the music down a little bit. So it's fun. You should go check it out. They got Mark Hamill and Anthony Daniels back to do the voices of Luke and 3PO, but they've got a handful of people to do different voices. Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't remember who did Obi-Wan. Anne Sachs, and I think I only remember that because I think she was in not a soap opera, but like a drama, a primetime drama at the time. And I don't remember the name of the guy who did Han. I do remember somebody Brooks did Vader. So if you know Deep Space Nine, Avery Brooks's character, Cisco, Captain Cisco, his dad in the show is the guy who played Vader's voice. So it was good. It was a lot of fun. I listened to it quite a bit. I had it on CD for a while, and then I lost, or the CDs were stolen. And but then you could download it, and then you could listen to it on YouTube. So if you find it, I think it's still available somewhere on YouTube, but it's worth it. I think, if you want to put something on in the background, it's like an audiobook if you like audiobooks. Yeah, I'm hopeful for Dune Messiah. I don't like Denis Villeneuve's argument that that's kind of the last story he wants to tell, because that's not the last book. But it kind of is the last. This is the last part for Paul usually, but I think he's also skipping. I'm trying to remember how the books go, because I thought Children of Dune was next, but maybe Messiah is the third one. And then there's Children of Dune, Sandworms of Dune, God Emperor Dune, and then Chapter House Dune. And Chapter House was the one that wasn't finished by Frank Herbert, and he had to have his son Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson, I think, finish it out for him. And yes, I've read it all. Even read all those prequel books like House Carino and House Atreides. Read the prequel books about the Butlerian Jihad and all that. But yeah, at some point, the story of Paul ends, and then it's his lineage after that. It's his son and grandson. And then, like, great-grandson, I'm pretty sure, because one of them lives forever. And they introduced, like, the Bene Tlaxu and the machine planet of Ix and all this other stuff. It's fun. It's good times. So the pronunciation issue with this ship comes from, I think, the general desire in English to pronounce anything that ends in IVE as IV. Tentative, supportive, anything that ends in IVE, right? You don't say supportive or tentative or givey, you don't say, hey, givey me that. So it's just how we pronounce those things. But the first heard pronunciation of it was on that radio drama, and they said Tantive, the Tantive 4. There is a word, there's an actual word, Tantive, with a Y at the end of it, which means to gallop or speed away or something like that. So several people have thought that maybe that's where Lucas got the word and just changed the ending of it a little bit. So, and in on Wikipedia, it's the pronunciation guide says Tantive. So that should put it to rest, but it doesn't. People will continue to call it Tantive, or Tantive even. And that's, you know, whatever you want to do. You want to call it AT-AT, you want to call it AT-AT. You do you, man. It hurts my ear. Like, I get AT-AT. That's fine, because that's, you say AT-ST, you say AT-TE, you say AT-OT, you know. I just think AT-AT, that's something that we grew up calling it. So that's kind of like somebody online said it's basically the shibboleth of like Gen X Star Wars fans. I thought that was pretty spot on. Well, poodoo. So let's see, what else is going on? Our lug got some models displayed up in the Lego store, so that was really cool. Our if you go online and look up TexLug Austin, the guy who runs our social media thing put up a little video about it, and it's pretty cool. There were 7 of us who remembered to build our build challenge on 8x8 plates, and oh no, this goes at the end apparently. So all 7 fit in the little area we were putting them up in, and they'll be there for a few months, and then we'll go back and get them and put up something else, maybe in June. Yeah, it's neat. Bart said he's going to get a sign made, so it's got a little sign for our lug and a little QR code if people are interested in joining. So hopefully he'll have that up soon. He's pretty good with design and stuff like that. So it was cool, and they took some flyers. They took a big old stack of flyers. I don't know if they'll put them in the bags or anything, but they'll definitely at least have them on the counter for us. So that was very nice of them too. And all this in service of getting more people to get tickets for Brick Rodeo. Would you go to the Lego Design House? The Lego house in Billund? Yeah, sure would. If I could talk my wife into going to Billund for any reason. All right, so this says recognize these little characters. It's Princess Leia, C-3PO, and R2-D2. So we've got C-3PO. We've got Princess Leia. She's got brown hair and a white dress. C-3PO is all the pearl gold. And then R2 is white bottom with a blue tile, which means these are all now extra pieces as well, because they're 1x1s. What's up, Johnny? How's it going? Thanks for being here. So inside, now we've got R2 and Princess Leia and C-3PO inside there. So there you go. That's pretty nifty. I like it. And then we immediately cover them up. That's just your, this is cool while you're building. Did you see what you did while you build that? Isn't that neat? And yes, it is. So how you doing, Johnny? How are things? All right. Bag 1's done. Extra pieces. There is no minifigure for this. But again, we got stickers. So those should come up pretty quick. Need to close this. I was working on the Degrassi School earlier. I almost did that tonight on stream instead, but oh good. My Unity driver is going to crash. There we go. So yeah, building the Tantive 4. I wanted to get the UCS Tantive 4, or I guess technically the UCS Corellian Corvette. I don't think it was officially ever called the Tantive 4. So yeah, the first time we see it, we don't have a name for it. It says its name in the credits as a blockade runner, and that's it. You know, but that could have been any ship. It's just that she's in a ship that's running the Imperial blockade over Tatooine. Which is kind of not really, now that we've seen Rogue One, that's not really what happened. They just kind of fled Scarif and ended up at Tatooine. There wasn't really a blockade. So, in retrospect, in hindsight, when you're retconning the story, there was no, like, blockade that they were running. But it sounds cool in the title crawler. You know, it sounds like they're making a mad, desperate attempt to get out of this system and get the plans off world. Still quite a cool story, if you ask me. I know that I have basically virtually given up on being parts of Star Wars fandoms anymore. I just will enjoy it in my own way, in my own time, and I'm not going to discuss it with anybody. It's too divisive. There's too many people who hate watch. There's too many people who think they could do it better, who think all kinds of stuff, and it's just not worth engaging with anybody anymore. Especially online, but like new people, I'd have to really get to know them first, but it's not worth the stress and the gray hairs, or as somebody in Johnny's stream called it, the wisdom highlights. Just not worth it. I was watching Three Body Problem, and I went online, and it was just awful. And I was watching, what did I watch that I really enjoyed? Oh, it was the True Detective. And I went online to like say, hey, this was really cool. What were your favorite parts? And like nobody, they were just online to hate about it. And I was like, well, I guess I'm not doing that. Good. Getting over the up and down change in temperatures. Yeah, it's crap right now. I do want to get this set. So I have the UCS. And then this mini from the Star Destroyer. Yeah. I really want to get the UCS done. It's still sitting over here in chunks. But I am missing major parts so far. So I think once I'm happy with how Horizon Zero Dawn's done and Mars Base is done, I'm pretty much done with projects. So I can focus back on going through this, seeing what pieces I need, and getting that put together. Because I'd like to get that up on a shelf. I still think it's kind of a nice model. Even though it's a little bit older. But then, yeah, put this with it. I think that'd be great. Something else. Oh, and get back into doing the Q2 Stadium. I'd like to get going on the full-size version of that. I say full-size, the larger size version of that. Because people keep asking me, they're like, how's that going? I'm like, not. It's not. If that counts as going, it's not going. I'm thinking about it quite a bit. I'm mulling it. I'm being pensive about it. I'm planning internally, but it's not going. So yeah, so there's this one. There'll be the CIS Cruiser. It's not the Invisible Hand, I didn't think. Or maybe it is. But it's definitely a CIS. It's not a Mandator. I forget the model of that. I think it might be the Invisible Hand, too, now that I think about it. But the Invisible Hand was that one that had, like, the giant ion cannon, right? On the side. Yeah, that, I mean, I used it. I used all those panels for so many different things over the years. And I have more. I got more since then. And I know that some of them have the old stickers on them. I still need to get one of those sticker sheets from that one that you suggested to me. So that still needs to happen. but that doesn't get it built. Like, I don't need them to get that built. That's just for the end, because it's going to be big stickers for the side canopy, or the side of the front, and then it's the stickers on the engines, and I think, and then like the stuff on the middle, right? So I think that may be it. So this ship went from being known as the Blockade Runner to then called Corellian Corvette. And I don't remember at what point it was figured out that it was a Corellian Corvette. It may have been in a release of a Kenner toy where they called it a Corellian Corvette. But again, in the radio drama in 1978 or 9, I forget when the radio drama came out, it was named Tantive 4. That's the first time we heard its name. And the rest, they say, is history. And it is the first ship you see in Star Wars, which I think is pretty cool. I do like that they're burying ingots. So there's an ingot right there that gets buried by that wedge plate. Gives it sort of, I guess, the underside of that a good look. A little greebly. So, all right. So what is everybody up to this weekend? Got plans, big plans for the weekend coming up? You know, March Madness has started. Easter's coming up. I think next week is Good Friday, which means Easter's like right after that. The eclipse is coming up. Y'all in a place where you can see the eclipse? I know Missy is. Is it going over PA at all? Parts of PA? Greg may have to drive a little bit into the hill country to get it from where he's at. Some nice greebling up top there. So our plans this weekend are myriad. Been thinking about how to make a motorized T-Rex for your super special project, which I'm not going to name because I don't want it to go out into the universe in case somebody else is doing it or something like that. You'd have to brick build it a little bit, or Technic build it, or Bionicle build it. Might have to get some Bionicle parts in order to like have it attached to gears and pistons and things. Oh, that's slick. That's never coming apart. Oof. All right. So, anti-stud little pip in between the anti-studs there. Open stud right there. Right? And then it closes down right on top of that. Nice. For future reference, remember this for something in the future where you may need to do something like this. I love this scale. It provides just enough ability to be a little greebly and a little detail oriented without getting like way into the woods with it. But also it's fairly inexpensive. I mean, this set's $80. It's not too shabby for a nice little display piece. I am a fan. And I mean, I kind of want to go back and get and rebuild, because I think I had them. It was I think we've had a Millennium Falcon already this size and a Star Destroyer. Which kind of bummed me out that they did another Millennium Falcon. I wouldn't mind getting this scale for like literally every set or every ship in Star Wars. I think it's a great size. I think we should get a home one, especially. I'm super upset that we've never got a home one. The Nebulon frigate is pretty much this size. The Executor is this size. These are all the kind of the new anniversary sets. But I'm talking like before, when they did it just like real briefly. They only did like 2 things. And I really enjoyed them. So here's hoping they do more and not wait for like the 50th anniversary of Star Wars or the 30th or something. I think by the 50th anniversary of Lego Star Wars, I will be dead. I'll be 75. And every time I talk like that, Beth goes, "No, you won't." I'm like, yeah, well. I am shocked that I made it this far. So, do you need to make were you thinking of making a fully motorized T-Rex or just one that walks? Because you could probably, I mean, this motion is probably not that hard. And then if you had, I say that, and I wouldn't know how to do it. If it was sitting on a stand that had wheels in between the legs, and all the legs were little like tires on the bottom and were rubber tires on the bottoms of the feet, so they could act as traction and do this motion and propel the little thing holding the dinosaur up. Maybe, I don't know. All right, we're impending with the stickers here. I think we got a couple stickers coming up. Yep. So these are going to be extra. I may get done with this early. If I get done with this early, I don't know. I guess we could bust out the working on Degrassi for a little bit. Gotta make sure these are lined up right. First one doesn't matter. Second one does. Because they don't turn, so I want to see how the orientation is. So this is 6. So this goes on the back. They should tell you to put it on first, because otherwise it's not going to line up right. So our networking project thing this week at my work went off pretty well. Not great, but pretty well. This was the thing where we had to cancel last week, or 2 weeks ago, because we got COVID. And basically it was it's our core. Get on there. It's our core network switch. So the big thing where everything comes into the building through all the different avenues, and they go in through like a firewall, and they go in through a DMZ switch for all intents and purposes. And then there's a couple scanners and a couple other things, and they get kind of split out. But then everything kind of goes through this main core, which then goes to all the switches on all the floors, to all the workstations and AV equipment and cameras and Wi-Fi spots, right? So we had 2 of them, 2 old ones, and we had 2 new ones underneath it. And we configured everything, and then we just had to move the cables down. Well, we moved the cables down and turned it on, or it was on, but then you move the cables down and suddenly it doesn't work. And so we had to go hunt down why it doesn't work. And it turns out something that somebody else had helped us with made it so secure that you couldn't ping out to ping back in. It was this whole thing. And once we turned that back on, everything worked. So we're like, yep, they made it so secure that it wouldn't even work anymore. Little baby sitting down there. Little dog sitting in a thing. Um, so yeah. All right, bag 3. We're just ripping through this. So if you're at all interested in making this, this is about how fast it goes. There's no like Technic or anything really to worry about. We had 2 Technic pieces that basically could have been an 8x8 brick in there for all they did. But it was 2 bricks that were basically, it's these 2. These 2 bricks in here that were put together with pins and then just acted as a brick. They nothing else attached to it. So I don't, there may be something attaching to this now. We'll see. Oh, in this bag. So the Dungeons and Dragons set is out, and it is being met with great mehness. I think people are kind of excited about getting a Dungeons and Dragons set, and they think it looks okay. Nothing specifically wrong with it. But also there are some people who are very upset that they're like, yep, look, it's all guys. All dudes. And I haven't really looked that closely, but I'm like, is there not a Dragonborn in there? Is there not a... So I guess it's a guy thief, a guy bard, a guy... I don't know what the characters are. But I know some people are kind of upset about that. I am upset about them kind of turning it into, like, it was a really cool set in ideas. Again, there's another one of these, it's great in ideas, and then Lego gets a hold of it and turns it into a cartoon of its former self. That just bothers me. And I know they're trying to, like, save pieces, and they're trying to make it cost effective, and they're trying to make it easy for everybody to build. But they also make it look, it's like brightly colored, and I'm like, I know, but Dungeons and Dragons really isn't brightly colored. That's not like one of the tenets of Dungeons and Dragons. You walk into this brightly colored tavern. I don't know. I'm probably not going to get it. I think we had talked about this on Johnny's stream too. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, if you get it, here's the thing. To me, it doesn't specifically say Dungeons and Dragons to me. It looks like a castle. It looks like Lego's castle line. It doesn't look any different from any of the other castle things that they've done. I think the difference is going to be in the figures, and I would hope that some of the figures are like really worth getting, because that would be the driving force for me, I think. This just looks cool. I don't know what it is, but I just like that. It looks really cool. That connection. I think I got a bunch of these. I'll have to just get those and remember them for putting together ships and connectors and things like that, because it looks neat. What's up, Gears? How's life? Oh, and we've got a lot of these. I'm always happy to get some of these jumper plates. If you're getting this for parts, we also got some 1x3 tiles. So that's good. Good. Is it also expensive? I didn't see what a price was on it. I'm guessing $250, like by the size of it. Which again, probably not going to get. I'm a little bummed. I'll tell you what's happening to me this week. Lego related stuff. I want to complain about our lug support that we got from the LAN. And I know I can't really... You can't complain about free Lego. It's free Lego. But for the past few years, our lug has been doing well growth-wise. Since 2010, when we've had a handful of people, up until, and I know I may have talked about this Sunday, but we had 50 people at our meeting this last time. And the irony being that it was in the same library where I first met a lot of the people in the lug. And I say a lot, that I first met 4 or 5 of the people who were in the lug. And so it was really crazy to get to a point where there's same place 12, 14 years later, and there are 50 people there. 50 people at least, because some people may not have signed the sign-in sheet. And 29 of them brought a model, right? And our ethos for our group has always been, if, Lego provides us with project support or with lug support. They send us stuff as being a recognized lug community. They send us stuff. And which is great. It's really, really great. Twice a year we get these shipments of sets ranging from the large and expensive $200 set, something like that, to the very small. Used to be poly bags. I would kill for some more poly bags, but they send small, like those little Technic forklifts, or like little police cars, or little friends sets, right? Good mix, usually a pretty good mix of different genres and things. Near recent stuff, so stuff within the last 6 months. And we use that to hand out to people at our meetings. Hey, you brought in a model, you built something, and you brought it to show everybody. You're going to get, we vote on which ones we like best, and the top votes get first pick of the loot. But everybody should get something. If you bring something, you get something. That's always been our credo. So when I first signed up, I think our first shipment was like 90 sets, right? And I will be honest, now that we're talking about it, I was having a hard time getting rid of some of it. Because what I would do is I'd set some aside, some really big sets for like our end of year holiday party. And whoever went to the most meetings and brought the most mocks during the course of the year got first pick of the really nice stuff, right? Now the end of the year thing is different, because at some point I got to cut it off. I can't bring hundreds of sets to the holiday party, but I'll bring 50, so I cut it off at a certain point. It's like, I think you have to, if you went to a minimum of 3 meetings, I try to bring enough for everybody. So I'll go through each shipment during the year. We get 2, and I'll pull out the expensive ones, within reason, and then keep those for the end of the year. Or, and we've done this, if somebody runs into a really good sale or deal at like Walmart and they find a bunch of small things for clearance, right? Like if there's some Christmas stuff now that's on clearance, or in a couple weeks or a month, there's some Easter stuff that's on clearance, or spring stuff, they'll let me know, and I'll be like, all right, well, if you were to buy $100 worth of that stuff, or you buy enough to where like the MSRP is $100, whatever you get for, a discount, keep the discount, but then MSRP, trade it with me, and I'll give you like I'll let you look at the inventory, and if there's a nice set in here you like, we'll do a trade. That way you get a cool set, and I get smaller things that I can hand out during the course of meetings. So that works for me. And, we've done that on a handful of occasions. And I usually do that with a couple of the longer term lug members who've been there a while, so they kind of know what's up. I don't put it out there for everybody to do, just because I think everyone would then be like, they would tell me kind of late in the day, hey, I just went to Walmart and bought $200 worth of Lego. Can I trade it for something? And it's like, that's not really how it works. But so anyway, so this time around, so then the last couple of years has been 60 and 60 sets, right? It's been less and less, but I'm like, okay, well, that's still doable. We're still getting a good number. And our group is growing, so I'm a little like, okay, well, as long as our group doesn't grow much bigger, I think we're all right. What's up, Vab? Good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. This time we got 30 sets. including one $300 set. So not only do I have basically enough pieces of support from the land to last 1 month. Like if I was out and we just got this, that's 1 month. That's 1 month of handing out stuff. Not even like we're going to take this to an event and reward some volunteers or, you know, squirrel a few of these aside to take to the children's hospital, or if we go to like an old folks home or something and build with them. There's none of that. They're pretty moderately priced. There's no like super small sets, and one of them's a $300 set. So not only is it not enough to really hand out to the lug for more than a month or two, but it's also really screwed up. What do I do with a $300 set? I mean, I kind of want to break it up into smaller sets, like figure out a way to buy some stuff at a discount somewhere, Sam's Club or Costco or Walmart or something, if somebody can find some good deals, and then they get this one set. Or do I hang on to it till the end of the year? Because it's a nice set. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's kind of a nice set. So now I'm like, well, I feel like I got screwed a little bit. Like the land just kind of gave up. Like they haven't been listening to us. They haven't been going, okay, well, what do you guys need? What I'd really love is bags of parts. I don't really even want sets anymore. I would love to get like cups from the Pick-a-Brick wall. You know, that would be great. Like if you just sent bags or boxes of parts instead of sets, I think that'd be great. Because that encourages more building, right? We want them to build. Let them build. I feel like they're just shuffling pallets, like stuff that fell off a cart somewhere. They're just, this goes to the lugs, you know. And I should specify it's an R lug, RLUG. If we got delisted, we would still meet. Like the group would still exist. We just wouldn't have as many sets to hand out. We might do more shows where we get paid a little bit and then use those funds to buy some parts or something like that. But I think parts would be a lot cooler than just a bunch of sets. Because in some cases, you get a set that, let's say, is one of those stunt bike things, and nobody likes those. And it's like two parts. It's a minifig and a bike that's together. What are you going to build out of that? There's nothing you can build out of that. You can't army build with any of those. And unless you get the tracks with it, now you've just got to... And I've got like 20 of those. What am I going to do with those, you know? So anyway... Yeah, and I just feel like I don't want to get too crazy about it because I know this isn't really the place for it. There's Discord servers of us talking about things like this in a Facebook group. And ideally, we should be going on the LAN and saying, aha, I knew I got those wrong. We should be going on the LAN and saying, hey, I'd like to make a comment about this recent. But then it looks like you're complaining about free stuff. And it's like, I don't want to look like I'm complaining about free stuff. But if you're going to do this, like it shifts wildly from month to month. And then we have expectations. And then we build our kind of community around it. And then now I've got to change tactics. Now I can say, okay, well, now bringing in a mock doesn't ensure you're going to get a set. I'm going to do my best, but it doesn't always ensure you're going to get anything. So now it's going to be I'm handing out sets to the people I think should get them instead of we're voting on all of them or something like that. So it becomes a problem. So there's the total length of your ship. That's how big it's going to be, right? That is, your forearm, basically. It's a pretty good size, right? I like it. But yeah, I know a lot of people will probably be happier with, and this is what those Technic bricks were for, is putting these pins in to hold it in place. which I think is weird. Like, I think a lot of us would just put plates here and cover it with a plate and be done with it, but I'm not the designer. Maybe I should learn. So that's what's going on. Like, I'm probably just going to sit on it and be like, yeah, whatever. Okay. I still have some sets left over from last year. They're not great. And I'll just probably mention something at the meeting and be like, look, we didn't get a ton of stuff for lug support this time. So the set handing out is going to be pretty light. If you do run into a pretty good sale and want to change in a bunch of smaller sets for a bigger set, just let me know, see what people do. Hopefully they don't I just don't want people to go shopping thinking that's the way things are run. I don't want them to go looking for stuff, just assuming they can trade in all the time, because it's like first come, first serve. Maybe I don't get to it. So I can't guarantee that, I don't want people to go out and spend $200 just to think they get something out of it, because that's not really the way it should be done. That's all I'm saying. But it is frustrating. I thought it was a mistake at first. What I first thought was I ordered this, and I got the two gift with purchase sets. I got the little egg house and then the little poly bag that's a bunny and something. And then I immediately got another email. That email was the order for all the, literally 15 minutes later, I got the order for all the lug stuff, right? And I was looking at it. I'm like, this is a lot of gift with purchases. Like, I at first didn't clock it. It was a lot of gift with purchases. It wasn't really what I was expecting for a lug thing. So I'm waiting to see if somebody complained about it. Somebody else other than me is going to say something about it. Because if nobody else says something about it, I don't think I'm going to be the first. I don't want to get our group delisted, especially while it's growing. Like, I feel like we're doing a really good job getting the word out, getting more people involved, getting people to join, getting more people excited to build. I just see it when people come in. They're really excited to talk about their models. And if they didn't get a set every once in a while, I think they'd be okay with that. They're still going to come in with some builds and be like, yeah, look what I did. I think this is great. That's my hope. Because I have a feeling overall, our lugs are going to go away. They're just going to go away. Lego is going to do a cost assessment and realize that for every fan media website, TikTok account, YouTube account, Instagram account, that they only have to send half a dozen sets every quarter, something like that, before they're released, versus 200 sets to a lug twice a year. They're probably going to be like, yeah, we don't need to do this anymore. And our return on investment is much higher because we get more people. Like, there's a couple in our area, a couple of people that do YouTube and stuff. And I know one of them probably gets thousands of views every time, if not millions. Another 1x5. Still, I'm not used to that. So what is Lego going to support? Are they going to support the thing that gets hundreds of thousands or millions of views to look at their product, or the one that is going to get their product anyway and is just, being sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Subsidized, to continue, being a build and share group versus a money-making group. I mean, because everybody in our lug is still going to buy stuff. We don't need... I'm with Johnny on a lot of this too. Every time I almost never watch... And one of the guys in the lug is a friend of mine. And Justin... Brady Joyner Bricks. I don't watch his stuff. I watch it a little. I take that back. When he does his tutorial stuff, I watch that. But when he's like, hey, look at this new set I've got, I'm like, I'm not watching that. I'll like it, I'll upvote it, I'll do whatever, but I'm not watching it. I stopped watching Jang stuff. Anybody who does a review of a set, it's not for me. It's for an 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old. So they can go bug their parents to buy them something. The people in the lug probably have the sets they're reviewing day one. You know? So it's not like somebody goes, hey, I'd really like to know what you thought of this set. It's like, you're in a lug, man. You probably already know. I say that. I brought the ornithopter to our last meeting because I was like, I know not everybody got this because it was kind of an expensive set. It's kind of a niche market, niche fandom. Like, not everybody's into Dune, but it was such a good set. I'm like, everybody should really look at it, play with it. And I brought it in. I'm like, really play with this set. Like, figure it out, look at it, pull it apart, do whatever you want to. Don't take it home. I really enjoyed that set. And I was trying to be evangelical about that set. I think it's really well done. I think it's one of the best sets in recent memory in terms of, like, it's very playable. You get a lot of figures. It is Technic, but it's also very sturdy. It has a lot of functionality. It looks cool. You can just set it on a shelf and be done with it, or you can actually play with it, like fly it around the house, have adventures. Just a very, very cool set. And I wish more were like that. Okay, I can't find this arch. I can't find this bracket. Oh, there it is. Okay. I have a pimple right here. And it was bigger yesterday. Like, I woke up going, is my face swollen? But it didn't hurt. And it was one of those, like, super deep ones that the only thing that happens is your skin swells up. The problem is, if you look at my glasses, see how they're angled a little bit? This just rubbing on my cheek, like, the whole day. And I'm just, like, constantly trying to move my glasses and... Ugh. It's really good. It's such a good set. Like, if you can find a way to kind of, like, muck with it in person a little bit, I would highly recommend it, because it really doesn't hit home how good it is until you, like, have it in your hand. And the figures are cool too. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I would have done something different with Paul. I think the outfits are a little too green. I would have given them a little darker green color for Paul especially. And his hair needed to be a little floofier. His hair was very helmet-like. And there is a hairpiece out there that would have worked great if they'd used it. But they didn't, so. But I don't work for them. I can only say what I think about the sets. These are cool. I like these. I wish we get more of these and things. I'm probably gonna, if I ever see them in the wild, I'll probably buy a bunch. Because they're very useful. You don't have to stack 2 plates together. And they're a little greebly, so that's nice. Mecha Kairu Goji, hello. How are you? Welcome to the stream. Happy Thursday. Thank you for being here. I hope you're doing well. We're building the Tantive 4, the 25th anniversary Star Wars set. And I love the scale. It's the MIDI scale. Been a big fan of it since they originally did it back in, goodness, 2011, 2012. They did 2 ships. They did a Star Destroyer and a Millennium Falcon. And ever since then, every time they do a new little ship, I'm like, hey, whatever happened to the MIDI scale? You should bring back MIDI scale. And they finally did. They finally did with the Executor And I'll bring those two over here. The Executor and the Nebulon B for their respective, like, anniversary, whatever it was, 40 years of Empire Strikes Back or whatever. So how you doing, Mecca? Where are you coming in from? What are you doing here? What do you like about Lego? If you could resurrect a set, if you could resurrect a theme, let's do this. I asked this of Miss Amby on her channel. She posted a thing that said, ask me a question. So I said, if you could resurrect a theme from any time in Lego history, what theme would it be? Why? And what set specifically from that theme would be your first purchase? Western New York, doing great. Western New York, like, well, I guess near PA a little bit. Near the lake. Near the lakes. Are you a Buffalo Sabres fan? Let's talk hockey. Buffalug. That's got to be one of the greatest lug names in history. I'm so jealous. Buffalug. I mean, come on. I was going through my TikToks yesterday, and there was just it was a picture of, like, you're laying in a forest looking up, and the trees are kind of doing this, and there's a buffalo way up above the trees, and it says Buffa High. And it took me a second. I went, I get it. And then it got a little smaller and said Buffa Very High. And I was like, oh my God. Somebody who is very high made this video. Oh, Jamestown. Okay, cool. Two of those. Hell yeah to the Sabres fan, or hell yeah to the Buffalug. What's up, James? How's it going? Speaking of lugs, there's another lug member in here. Jamestown, specifically his town. That's right. So, James, I may need to lean on you and Dove for some deals in the near future, because I got our lug support shipment yesterday, and we got 30 sets, which is half of what we got last time and a third of what we got about a year ago. So they are cutting back, and I may need to do a, hey, did anybody find some cool sets they want to trade for? I got a couple big sets I can do. I didn't even really get a bunch of big sets. I got like one super big set and a bunch of mid-sized sets. So it's like nobody's going to want to trade for any of this. So I'll let you know. Haven't really decided. I'm going to start going back to handing out Frozen sets. Everybody's going to get an Olaf again. I hate those things. Nobody likes the Olafs. 1 and 4. And these go up the top. At least these got put in place this time. Cool. Well, I've got them all inventoried. Let me pull them out so I can see kind of what their... I need to go through their MSRPs too and find out what their prices are, so I get a better idea of what I can trade for, and then I will let you know. And I was saying earlier, I'd really like it if they went back to like parts and poly bags. Those were perfect sizes for, or even like, so these things. I can find one. Stuff like this. I know it's VIP or Insider, but stuff like this. It doesn't build a set. It's just a bag of parts. That's cool. I think more people would be interested in this than a stunt cycle or a Friends capsule with like a mini doll and a pet in it. This is some good stuff, man. There's some really fun pieces in there. I think more people would be happy to get that. So I think if we ever have another town hall like that where we talk about things, I'm not going to be the one that brings it up this time, but I'm definitely going to bring it up and be like, look, can we go back? I know Hinkle was doing this where we were just getting bags of parts, and even like they opened up a bunch of sets, and we could do that. I could do that. I can just open up a set and be like, all right, you're getting this bag. But I think getting a bag of parts like that is better than getting like, okay, this is bag number 5 from this one set. Because then you're like, oh, well, it's all the Technic parts, or it's all, you know, it's, anyway, I'm kind of upset about this whole thing. I've been going off on it a little bit. In the end, it's free Lego, and if we don't want it, we can always leave the lug or the LAN and just be our own group again. But I just want to voice my consternation. And we used to get those too. We'd get some parts, some sets, bags that were like, well, what was this? This was, and then that was kind of fun because you could be like, all right, this is bag number 6. What set is it from? And then people would be like, wow, let's figure out what set it's from. Well, yeah, but I mean, the thing is, they stopped taking reports about meetings. There's nowhere to report on your meetings anymore. So they don't see that at our last meeting, there was 50 people and there were 30, almost 30 models. They don't see that growth because there's no longer any reports on meetings. They want events where they can get people. Oh, this was one of these is different. They want events where they can get thousands of people. The events we've been doing are not the events they are looking for. The events they want are things that bring in. They want every event to be Brick World Chicago. They don't want to be Ben and Lasso go to Pflugerville Library and 300 people walk by. And half those people are just parents with kids, and they ask about our group like it's a babysitting club. That's not the event they want. So, I mean, we can put down a bunch of those events because we're going to have a few of those, but it's not going to be a giant. It's not going to be a giant thing. They can't all be giant things. So, it's just kind of frustrating. Yeah, it does. It starts with us. Be the change you want to see in the world. So, well, that's what, like, I always put down that it's a minimum need, a moderate need, something like that. But, and I think Tim mentioned this on this Facebook group I was in too. He's like, we'd be a group if we weren't recognized. And I'm like, yeah, we would be too. Like, I don't think people show up bringing their models knowing that they're going to end up with a 4+ Batman set. You know, they want to build because they like building, and they don't get a lot of parts from the sets that I give them. So they're getting parts from the Pick-a-Brick wall. They're getting it from lug bulk if we do that. The thing that would upset me is there would be no more lug bulk. There would be no more project support. So some of those events might go by the wayside. The A&E for Brick Rodeo would probably still exist. But we wouldn't be able to do lug bulk anymore. Which, the way things are going with lug bulk, they keep reducing the number of pieces we can, or stuff we can get. I think there's thunder going on outside, I think. Or somebody's moving a trash can. So let's get off this topic, because I don't want to like sit here and just be grouchy about everything all day. But okay, so that's done. And it says put this over like this. I feel like this is gonna, there's gonna be something going up in there, because there's these guys and then those things in between. So I have a feeling one of the next steps will be put these little pieces in there. Okay. And I've got 2 of these with number 2 stickers on them. Oh, 2 and 3. So let's build these first. Lighting. Oh, those are car headlights. What are car headlights? Did you hear thunder too? Okay, good. Not just me then. Is this an extra piece? Oh no. Okay. This goes on last. I was like, that's a weird piece to be extra. This is number 2 and number 3. Both with the holes in the back. Holes toward the hinges. Oh, is it really? It must be a front coming across all of... Yeah, there goes. Ooh, Beth. Beth. Do you hear it? Do you love it? Beth hates thunderstorms. Every time we have one, I give her crap about it. I'm like, is it there? She's like, I am terrified of thunderstorms. Stop antagonizing me. All right, that was the opposite sides. Make sure that I do this right. Okay. Yeah, super. I guess I'm a little bummed because these could have been printed, but each one is a little different. So I guess it's not like you're just printing 8 tiles, right? It's 4 different images. So honestly, you could have greebled that. There's no reason you couldn't put a little jumper plate with a thing and then like you could have greebled that. I think you could have greebled it. I could have greebled it. What are you gonna do? Vab knows me. This is gonna be a display. This is gonna go with the Executor and the Nebulon B. So it'll be a nice display thing. So yeah. Bag 5. We're already on bag 5 of 7. Rocking through this. I wanted to show you guys, since some of you guys got here late. I want to do this real quick. I got my sign going. This is my sign for the background of the Horizon Zero Dawn. So this is what the logo is for the game. I'm waiting for some pieces because I don't have these quarter round white, and I don't have more of these angled plates in white. I used them all already, so I'm waiting on a few of those. They'll probably come in about the same time as the rest of the machine parts, but I think it looks great. I'm not 100% on it being on these blue plates because I would have to stand them up, right, like this behind the all the machines and all the landscaping, and I don't know how to do that yet with it being stable. So instead, I might kind of build a backing behind this and like set it up on like some trans clear bricks or something to kind of hold it up. But we'll see. I'll figure it out. I got time. As long as this gets done. And then on this, if I wanted to, I could put like mountains, right? Kind of behind mountains and maybe some wispy clouds or something. So it looks like the background of the landscape. So, but yeah, I keep doing this. It's going to fall off. On there better so it doesn't fall off too. But yeah, this took like a day to design and just a couple, like I put all the bricks together watching a hockey game. So I know it would cost more, but I would tile the blue, but other than that, it looks amazing. I would, yeah, there's not enough. I don't own enough blue tile. So this was, I tried to make that more about I just want to build it with what I've got. Like the landscaping is just what I have. I'm not going to order anything more. Because the machines themselves already cost me quite a bit to get finished. And I don't need to also order a bunch of dark orange stuff for landscaping. I'm just going to build, you know, I've been building up pab cups and lug bulk for years and not doing anything with it. And like what little dark orange I have, I'm putting on one corner of the landscaping as like the Arizona kind of red rock section. All of it. All the slopes, all the bricks, all the plates. If I run out, I run out because I'm not going to need it, obviously. I haven't needed it up until now. Use it all. So that's the hope. But yeah, other than that, I think the blue on the tile would be great. But I'm going to try to maybe cover it a little with like kind of mountainous looking, maybe more of the dark, maybe like a dark or medium nougat kind of blend in with the Arizona side, like the canyon countryside. And then the other side is going to be all gray mountainous with like green on it. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited. I think it looks great. I'm excited just to get it all done and displayed. And then once that display is done, I don't know what I'll do with it, honestly. The display itself will probably be taken apart. The machines I'll keep, but I don't know what I do with them to display them at future brick rodeos or other events that I go to. Because I want to keep making them. I want to go into the Forbidden West and the Frozen Wilds and the Burning Shores and make all the machines I can from the game. It's just going to take a little bit. Will you rebuild the gray? Will you rebuild the gray castle? The gray castle. The castle wall for the collaboration castle. I don't have to rebuild it. I never took mine apart. If that's what you mean, the castle walls. I never took mine apart. It's still sitting in a box. I might, if I have time and I've got nothing better to do, we'll use the gray brick to make a castle. Nah. I don't have it. I have a good amount of gray, but you know. I'm going to use as much gray as I can. So like there's a ruined building and then there's kind of a big hill behind it. And I'm going to do a bunch of plates behind it that kind of rise up a little bit. So it's a little more, vertical. It's not as nearly as vertical as I want. I think I only went up about 7 bricks total from the front to the back. It's still kind of a gradual slope up. But then there's kind of a big jump, and then there's another layer. So most of this is going to be gray, and I may run out of gray bricks just doing that. But the good thing is I have gray plates. I have a lot more gray plates. I had a giant bag of dark orange brick, which became kind of the bedrock, so to speak, of one side of the display to get all that dark orange in there. But the gray, I've got lots of just big plates that I can do, and then I can stick on greenery and darker gray for different rocks and things. So hopefully it'll look good. My thing is that they're all individually made. They're all, you know, it's not like 5 base plates together or anything, so I can just kind of stack them as they go. The only one needs to be stacked individually so far is the one that has the ruins on it. I might make a bandit camp to put on one side, and I'm going to try to make it so it kind of comes apart on its own and can travel on its own. And then all the machines will just be in bags, so I'll put them all together kind of when I get there. Nothing really needs to lock into the landscape. The only exception might be the tall neck, because it's got those Technic plates under its feet, or the Technic tiles with the pins coming up. That I'll have to find a place and kind of lock it into place and be like, all right, this is where you go. The rest of them I can just kind of put anywhere. The other trick is going to be the storm bird, which is one of the bigger birds. And assuming that I didn't design it poorly and its wings don't just flop down, I'm going to have to figure out a way to get it off the ground. So I may have to have a segment, one of the backdrop landscape things, have like a big, underneath it, a big Technic thing to hold it up. So it's not just wobbling around. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Do you? I think you build stuff. I mean, your kids bring more mocks than you do, but I think that's adorable that y'all bring mocks to the meetings. And I know you build stuff. But yeah, you guys like to buy the sets and keep the sets and put them in storage units and sell minifigures and stuff. So I don't know what Glenn does, honestly. He buys as much as anybody else I've seen. He's always at the store. He's always doing lug bulk. He's always doing things that get us more stuff, project support. And yet every time he comes to a meeting, he doesn't build something, or he builds like these little 16 by 16 plates of like tiles. Like, it's a little design. I'm like, what are you doing, man? I guess he's saving for retirement. Seriously? Because that would be amazing. Also, talk about like a weird thing to give the unhoused. It's like, here, man, I know you'd probably rather have a sandwich or a beer, but here's a Lego set. They'd be like, I don't know, I'd be like, what the heck? Get this off me. There's a guy on our corner by our building who's been there for a year, 6 months. He's kind of almost Leslie quality. Like his whole wheelchair setup thing is pretty intense. Old dude, looks kind of like Glenn. Honestly, just kind of older, long gray beard. But yeah, I can't imagine going up and going, hey man, we've taken food out to him before when we have like lunches in the building and things. And, I've got him waters and things, but I can imagine going up to him and going, honestly, I think his name is Glenn too. It might be something else. Be like, hey buddy, do you want a Lego set? Go build yourself a home. Ooh, James, dark James. Funny, dark. Use a thin camera boom arm and some fish line for the bird. Oh, that is not a bad idea. I wish I had a camera boom. I'm also trying to think of the, this is going to be cool because I think it's going to go like this. It's going to go underneath like that. So it's nice and lined up. I don't have a boom of any type. If I did, I wouldn't use the stupid tripod on my table. But yeah, that's not a bad idea. If I can swing something, no pun intended. If I can get like a old... I don't know how much it weighs, though. That's the other thing. I want to make sure that whatever I get can take the weight. It's not going to be any more than this, so it, it would have to hold this up. Oh, goodness. Just put those anywhere. Rollman, that's fine. I've tried to do giant spaceships being supported by big columns of stuff in the past, and it's never really turned out. So I'd be 100% in favor of trying something new. The only downside to that is then you'd see this giant boom from behind the setup. It wouldn't look seamless. It wouldn't look like it's part of it, but I guess, whatever. Yeah? Yeah? More money to spend, but yeah, you're right. I could get one of those. As a musician, I have many types of stands. As a musician, I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I drink them on a stand. Play well, my friends. I want to do a commercial like that where it's the most interesting man in the world, but it's all Lego stuff. Something stickers don't apply to him or something, you know. 1 in 4. That was pretty good, honestly. That was a nice big block of wood with a nice big metal pole in the middle of it. That may be overkill for what I'm doing, but it would definitely hold it up. I would try to build... I would try to cover the white plate with something landscapey so you wouldn't see it, but that's easy enough to do. It's also pretty easy to make, would be my guess. But I am not an engineer and I have no tools like that. So I usually try to just jury rig something from that I already have. Like, oh, I've got this, I've got these Christmas lights. Let's do something with those. So, like, I probably use a tripod and just be done with it. What's up, Haley? Okay, good to know. I think I know a few people who would do that. I would pay them, but yeah, I know a few people who might have that skill. There's some people in the Austin FC group who I could probably buy a beer for and get them to do it. Buy the supplies, that kind of thing. So, how you doing, Haley? How's things? How's tricks? I hope you're doing well. I hope it's not raining where you are. Seems to be raining for about 2/3 of us in the chat. Times 3. This is, of course, the MIDI scale Tantive 4, which is a little bigger than MIDI scale. Like, I remember the Star Destroyer not being much bigger than this originally, but I do like this scale. And you do have the heavy duty stand for life. That's true. Like, that's good for forever now. The build is good. The build's quick. We're going to get this 7 bags, 600 pieces done in 2 hours. Very likely. 654 pieces. We're almost done with bag 5. And the last one's going to be a stand, so that's not going to be hard. And it's good. It's not heavily Technic or anything. I'm a little disappointed that it's got 10 stickers. Like, this could have all been greebled. And then these 2 could have been printed. There's no reason those 2 couldn't have been printed. But I think white print on dark red tile. I don't know if you have all seen the F1, the new F1 racer. That has the white print on the front kind of cowling of the car, and it looks kind of pinkish because it's printed on red, and then it's surrounded by red as well. So it's gonna, like, your mind's gonna go, that's a little pink. So it doesn't look as white as everything else. So I think that's probably an indication. Yeah. I mean, the UCS is 9 times as big as this, so I mean, it's gonna be a little bigger. But yeah, so far so good. I like it. I can't wait to get the CIS frigate. It's not even a frigate. It's a... I'm going to look this up because I know what that is. What is it? The Invisible Hand. I know it's the Invisible Hand, but I really thought the Invisible Hand was bigger than that. But the Invisible Hand is a type of ship. That's what I'm trying to get at, is the type of ship. Hey, baby, what do you need? Did you go outside? It's a, come on, where is it? See, the Invisible Hand is a dreadnought, but it's based on, it's a Providence class. All right, here's how I know. It's a Providence class, right? And that's supposed to be Admiral Trench. So let's look up. I'm going to look this up real quick because we got time. I'm not going anywhere, baby. You can sit. Little princess is like, well, we're going somewhere. Providence class. Is it a Providence class dreadnought? Oh, it is. Oh yeah, this is where I like to get crunchy. So this is the ship, the Providence class dreadnought, right? This is what we're looking at. The Invisible Hand is different. Now, what was the one? Because this isn't it, and I'll tell you what I'm thinking of here in a second. Now I remember what it was called. So the Malevolence is a different ship, but it's similar. What country am I in? Fiji? What is FI? Can I do EN? Thank you. It's a subjugator class heavy cruiser. Okay, so in my mind, I was thinking that's what we were looking at. That's what was for... I was thinking of the Malevolence, not the Invisible Hand. So, y'all are right. But yeah, Providence class. That's what I was thinking of. All right, back to this thing. Yeah, ship nerds are the worst nerds to have around. We're all like, no. Well, actually, if you know, it's a cross between the Hammerhead Corvette. The Hammerhead Corvettes were from Knights of the Old Republic. There's no way those ships would last 300 years. That's what we sound like it or not. That's what I sound like. We're only impressive at trivia to ourselves. Nobody else cares. I'm only high-fiving myself. Yeah, the Malevolence was a really great arc, too, because it introduced to us to also the Republic Y-Wing for the first time. And the Republic Y-Wing is another ship that I think should get a microfighter. And it was one of the first microfighters I made because I'm like, you know what? Y'all should make this. And you don't. We've got 9 Millennium Falcons, and yet we could have a Republic Y-Wing. You know why they could do it? So they could also do Rex's blue version. So that you could put Rex and a blue microfighter. I'm telling you, nobody thinks of these things. That was a great, they're like, look at these cool ships. And I'm like, oh, they're Y-Wings. And they're like brand new, top of the line. These are gonna punch through that hole, wipe out that ship. It was so great. It was a great arc. Okay, so the Malevolence is a, we just did this, is a subjugator class. So let's look up the Malevolence. Look up images of the Malevolence. Okay, it's similar. Providence class, similar, right? They've got this long main fuselage. They've got this giant conning tower, this giant observation tower back here. But there are some differences. There's a lower sort of sensor tower. Their engines are a little different. This is probably like twice the size too, easy, and it's got this giant ion cannon on the side of it. So the ship in that arc where they're trying to like this, the Malevolence is wiping out Republic fleets. That's this ship. The Invisible Hand is just, it's a Admiral Trench, the Spiderhead guy. This is his ship, right? I don't know if you can kind of see. I realize I didn't pull it up very well. Let's do that again. This is Grievous's ship, right? I think I have a Malevolence in here as well. But it is a subjugator class. Dreadnought. Or Star Dreadnought or something like that. Oh, it's not in here. Like I did it in somebody else's designs. That's why I didn't see it. So yeah, the Malevolence. It's got the big, I did a little, this is somebody else's design, but I took it because I think the original design, I took it and tried to make it affordable because the one that they'd done was like, yeah, isn't this cool? It's a little microfighter. None of the pieces existed in the colors that are needed. So I was like, well, jerk, I can't buy this. So. No, Invisible Hand belonged to Admiral Trench, the spider-headed guy. He was the one that kept wiping out the fleets, or he kept denying them access to Ryloth. There was like a humanitarian effort where they were trying to bring in supplies and medical things to Ryloth, and he had this blockade up and they couldn't get past him. And they ended up having to use that weird needle-shaped stealth ship. Like, I think Tarkin designed it or something like that. This is going to go under here. Like so. Oh, yeah, I got the stickers on it. And that one was able to break through the lines and then blow it up. But that was just a regular old, that was just his flagship. It wasn't a specially designed dreadnought like the Malevolence. The more you know, right? This has been Spaceship Talk with your host, Ben. Yep. Yeah, that was in the movie. Yes, a Providence class was. I guess technically that was the Invisible Hand too, because the Clone Wars the cartoon ran up to Attack or the Revenge of the Sith, so that could have been his ship as well. In the Clone Wars, but I don't think it was made sort of really abundantly clear. But yeah, that's the one where Obi-Wan says, we've landed half a ship. We're now flying half a ship. Another happy landing. That didn't sound like Obi-Wan at all. That sounded like the narrator from Battlestar Galactica. Uh-oh. Yay, I put that on wrong. The good news is I don't have to take it apart. Take the sticker off. Just turn it around. Turn it around. Lego doing their best to greeble the undersides of ships. Alright, that's it for stickers. We're done with stickers. Bag 6. Probably should get cranking a little bit, a little behind. Sat there and got chatty with the Starship stuff. Oh, wait. Yeah, I'm the... I'm the one in the YouTube channel chats comment section that's always, when people are reviewing episodes, I'm like, actually, that ship is the whatever, whatever. Or if there's a new ship, I'm usually trying to figure out, all right, that's a new ship. Let's talk about it. It's obviously of Corellian design. There's a new ship that we just did the microfighter one for back last week. That was a new one. Had a big discussion about Echo's ship from the Bad Batch. That's a newish one, but we hadn't seen it since last season. What do y'all think of Bad Batch so far? Y'all watching? I'm enjoying it. Again, we'll try not to talk too much Star Wars. It's good. 3 Body Problem started today. I watched the first episode. I'm probably going to go watch another one after this. Because tomorrow's Friday, and Friday doesn't count. But Beth has already said, I'm going to try... Oh, poor Beth. So, the thing that happened at her work has happened at her work. And she's slowly getting back into the day-to-day as best she can. And that means some meetings and some staying late and some other stuff. And she was like, I'm going to try to get up early so I can get in and do some paperwork so I don't have to stay late. And tomorrow especially, it's not good. What's not good? What are we talking about? Where was I going with this? Bad Batch. It's bad. I like it. It's good. I'm enjoying watching it. So she's like, I'm going to try to get up early tomorrow. I'm like, all right. So her alarm goes off at 5:45. That's fine. And then she snoozes it until 7 o'clock. 6:45, I think. 7 o'clock. I'm like, all right. I know you've been going through some stuff, and I know work's been very rough for you. If you are going to not get up at 5:45, do not set your alarm for 5:45. Because when your alarm goes off that early, I wake up, and then I can't go back to sleep. I know you can. I know you can go to sleep like that. And your alarm goes off, and you snooze it, and you go right back to sleep. I am awake at 5:45 now. And I can't go back to sleep. So if you're not going to get up, don't do it. Set your alarm for 7. And she's like, I know. I'm like, all right, well, then don't. She's like, but that's not how I do things. That's not my process. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to go sleep in the other room. So I think tonight, maybe an other room night. I'll stay up late watching stuff and then just go sleep in the guest room. Which we do anyway. Occasionally... I'm twitchy, my leg's jumpy, I get like restless leg, or one of us has got bad allergies or something. It's like, I'm not going to keep you awake because I'm awake. I'm going to go sleep in the guest room. And I told this to our friends, and they're like, oh, that's kind of sad. I'm like, no, we get good night's sleep that way. We've got friends of ours who have specifically set up different rooms. And they're like, nope, that's my room, that's her room. And then that kind of gets, if you want sexy time, then it's like my place or yours, So it works. I don't have no problem with it. Ooh, cool way to do a turret, man. I don't think I've ever thought of this. That's actually really rad. Just these two things together like that. That's all you gotta do. That's pretty cool. So you know what? They are greebling this up a little underneath here. I appreciate this. They're making things little, they're doing their best. Got some good things going under there, so it's not all flat. I think they listened to the fans for a little bit. They're like, you know what? We'll listen to you guys. And again, I feel like a Corellian design really is kind of a central spire, really big engines, no matter what kind of ship, either a big bank or like really kind of two or three really big engines, and then this sort of cross tube thing, right, where it's access ports. So you've got kind of a main section and then kind of boarding sections on either side, because I think a lot of Corellian ships have that cross entryway design. Again, another thing about the Tantive 4 is that original designs by Ralph McQuarrie were I feel my voice going out. We're going to push past a little bit about past 10 o'clock. I apologize, everyone. Feel free to bail. I know it's getting late. I know tonight's a school night. I appreciate you coming by. But don't feel the need to linger if you have to jump off. I think they want this to stick out a little bit. The original design for the Millennium Falcon was what ended up becoming the Corellian Corvette. It looked a little different. The front nose cone, instead of having, or the front bridge area, instead of having the two bridge sections, it was basically what the front of the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon looks like now. It was also very similar to another Corellian design, was the CR-90 Corvette that we saw at the very beginning of Phantom Menace, that one ship that docked on the Separatist battleship, the Lucrehulk. That was also another Corellian. I can't remember if that was a frigate or a Corvette, another Corvette. I think maybe it was a cruiser. The nomenclature and the design and the like, even in the Navy, it's all kind of weird too. It's like, well, is this a destroyer or a frigate or a cruiser, or, and everyone's like, yes. All right. But I know there's classifications based on weight, based on displacement, based off of function, that kind of thing, you know. Glad it works for you guys. Wouldn't work for me. What wouldn't work for you? I missed something. Sorry. The show? Bad Batch? You don't like Bad Batch? I thought you were making a pun. You really don't like it. Did you like Clone Wars or Rebels? I don't remember if we've talked about that or not. Oh, bed situation. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you get used to sleeping with somebody, right? Having warmth and a weight and a presence next to you that I think if you were to go without, like if I go to a hotel by myself for work, or like when we went up to do Bricks Colleen or something, I was excited at first because, like, yeah, man, I'm gonna turn on the air conditioner. It's just gonna be me. I'm a big, giant, king size bed. I'm just gonna like spread all over this thing, and you know, big, comfy pillows. And then like got no sleep whatsoever. Oh, these are cool. I haven't seen these pieces. So they got open slots up top, and they've got little bars underneath. I don't know if those are new or not. I don't recognize them. I don't feel like they are new, but I don't recognize them. Getting very sneezy. The second night it was better, but yeah, that first night I'm like, ugh. But I think it's is it a new part? Okay, I wasn't sure. I know there is a plate with wheels with an axle like that, but these are just a bar. They're not like the old wheel axles, so that's pretty cool. That'd give us more of a, you can put clips on that, give you more flexibility to do swinging things underneath something. I really like that. I think there's a difference too in, I know I'm going to be sleeping here by myself for a time, like if you go to a hotel or something by yourself, versus waking up in the middle of the night knowing you're not sleeping well, and just kind of shuffling into the next room. It's all dark, you're still warm, and you just kind of like fall asleep somewhere else, right? Which is kind of what we do. Like I think if I started off sleeping in another room, it probably wouldn't go as well. And this is full of like good greebly, chunky, crunchy kind of things. Oh, and we get a lot of we get these white fezzes. I like these pieces a lot, and I need more of these. These are great for small ships and their thrusters or their cones or their cockpits. They're great pieces. So it's good to know that there's going to be a lot of them in circulation now. Are we still upside down with this? All right, that's a solid fit. Like the only way for that to fit is at that angle. So that's great. Good, good, good. Good design. I just can't stand anything animated. I'm too much of a movie TV snob. Production on it seems to be lacking some way. Bad Batch started out okay, but I didn't make it through the first season. Bad Batch actually gets a lot better. Clone Wars does too. Like both of those started out a little rough, and I know completely what you're talking about. When I first started, I'm like, all right, well this is okay, but like the animation seems weird. And then as it went along, it felt like somebody went in and said, you know what, you're missing these sort of like small environmental touches that would really make this pop a little bit. And I think that started getting layered into it. Sound design was good. The music in the Bad Batch is wonderful. And the voice acting is like 90% of the show is D. Bradley Baker, and he crushes it all the time. So, because he's all the clones. But yeah, even early Clone Wars stuff, which, you know, arguably and universally one of the better properties in Star Wars, did struggle a little bit at first. It was a little weird. The style was weird. It was a little funky. But I think it really grew into it. It had also a lot more time to do stuff. 6 seasons plus this most recent 7th abbreviated season. Bad Batch has only had the 3, so they've had limited time. But yeah, it's not for everybody. Rebels is even more kid-like, and Resistance is not even worth bringing up. Resistance was good for the ships. The idea was good, but it was just week in and week out of bumbling Forrest Gump type stuff, and it didn't really grow. It didn't grow for itself, didn't grow into anything. It was just kind of that way. So, well, there are 8 parts. There are 8 of this new part in this set. So if you're looking to part out a set for this new part, this is your time. Did I miss that on previous? No, I think those were in white or in dark red. Yeah, okay, it's just a different color. And I do like what they've done. They've kind of grown a little bit with visions. I like what they're doing with the Acolyte. The trailer for Acolyte hit this week too. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be a whole new realm of storytelling. It's still Jedi and it's still giant space things, but it's going to be, they're moving away from Han and Luke and the Skywalker family, and like they're getting away from Tatooine, you know, and it's going to be kind of the end of the High Republic, which isn't really anything we've seen outside of books and comics. And I think we've got a little Lego show that's got some High Republic stuff in it. But nothing on either of the big or small screens yet. I think this goes in here like this. Okay. That's a little funky to get in there because you really got to put it in at the right angle. Nothing about it made any sense. So, it's going to be weird. And I will say that I think it's going to miss... I think it's going to be a bit like Andor or Mandalorian when Mandalorian first started. Because when Mandalorian first started, everyone's like, it's Boba Fett. And it's like, it's not Boba Fett. And you kind of had to buy into the time period being different. The characters being a little different, at least to start. The world being different. Like, they didn't know there were Jedi. They didn't know kind of like the greater galactic kind of setup. And you kind of had to buy into the smallness of the world. I feel like the Acolyte is going to be... I kind of wish that... This is what makes this a little rough, because the Acolyte is basically the end of the High Republic. And the High Republic is cool, but nobody really knows what it is. So it's another thing where people are going to have to buy into the time period. And be like, all right, well, there's nothing familiar about any of this. So, you know, who are going to be the good guys? Who are going to be the bad guys? I'm used to, like, Jedi and Sith, which they're going to have. But it's going to be so long ago that it's going to be different people altogether. But we might see Yoda. Because Yoda existed in that time period, and he was part of that, the High Republic. Oh, we got to do another one of these turrets. And he's in some of the books, and he's a character that does stuff, so that's cool. All right. And all we got left is the stand. We got a lot of extra pieces on that are kind of nice. I like getting bars like that. I like getting these guys. That's always good. So, all right. We're doing it up. Stand time. I think, too, what worked about Mandalorian is it wasn't Jedi. It wasn't the Force. But I think with Rogue One and Andor and Mandalorian now kind of in play, I feel like they're trying to tell a different, like, way out of left field kind of story. I still think they could probably do better by going back and telling, like, a Knights of the Old Republic era story. But I don't think they're ever going to do that. The only thing I liked the old or the High Republic stories for the most part. Like, I enjoyed reading it. The only problem that I really had with it was that the main bad guys were these pirates called the Nile, and I didn't feel like they were, you know, it's a galaxy full of Jedi and then a bunch of pirates, and I'm like, I feel like this isn't a fair fight, but it's the way they portrayed what they did and who their leader is, and kind of like the organization of their, and there's thousands of them, and so I guess the idea is that it's kind of a mindless group of pirates and fighting people with a code of some kind in it, you know. But then they introduced a bunch of other things that were kind of crazy, like this thing that eats the Force, drains it from people. Then there's like a bunch of sentient, basically Star Wars Ents. They're like these evil sentient trees that can take over a whole planet really quickly. So there's some cool stuff in there, and it's, you know, it's still all fantasy, space fantasy stuff. So grain of salt, whether it's up your alley or not. And that's a good thing about it. You don't like it, you're like Johnny's like, didn't impress me. Cool. Don't watch. I won't make you. I do think I'm going to go watch one more episode of the 3-Body Problem. So far, so good. They did make some changes. I just recently read the book. So it's still kind of fresh in my mind. The book is really hard to get through. And I think I talked about this before, and I don't know if it's the translation, but I researched the author a little more, and I come to find out that the author is actually, the original Chinese author is an engineer turned sci-fi author. Like I think his books, he was writing them while he was doing some other work on something. So his primary focus at one point was not to write science fiction novels, but almost to like educate through the science fiction novels, like basic stuff of science and engineering. And so he like moved full time, and this is like one of his first novels, and there's like 3 in this series. The problem I had, the 2 problems I had, it's in China, it's the original's Chinese, and the story originally, it kind of goes between 2 time periods, or a couple time periods. One of them is during like the Cultural Revolution in China, so like the mid to late 60s. Little Red Notebook. And there is such a cultural thing happening that for me it's like watching anime, where there may be an important moment, but I don't understand why that moment is important. I think only somebody who may have lived in China during those years understands why something like that is important. I like the fact that it bounces between the life of this one lady, right? It happens in the story. The other thing I don't like, and I'm going to try to say this without ruining it, because I think everyone should at least try to read it and see if that's something they like. Keep in mind it was written by an engineer. Is that it felt like this is a really clumsy way to talk about this, but it felt like they had this idea of what they wanted to do in the story. Like I have this great idea, this great science fiction idea, and it's always asking the question, what if? Science fiction is always what if. What if this thing happened to the greater part of humanity? How would we deal with it? What's the human equation behind this question that we're going to ask? That's generally science fiction. Science fiction is, what is it? It's like pornography. It's like, I can't define it, but I'll know it when I see it, kind of thing. Modern art. Oh, I was doing this backwards, but not backwards at the same time. Cool. I'm getting very close to being done here, so I'm gonna try to wrap this up. So yeah, there was a handful of characters that I wasn't really sure who was being talked about. Some of the descriptions were really weird. One of the very first things that you read about, and this isn't giving away, this is literally the first 5 minutes of the show, so I'm not ruining anything, but they would bring scientists up in front of like a crowd of revolutionaries. And it's weird because they felt like revolutionaries, but they weren't revolutionaries. They were trying to they were radical anti-revolutionaries, right? And they'd bring these scientists up and they'd be like, you are talking about Einstein, and Einstein's work goes against the word of whatever it is, right? They radicalized science, basically. And so in the book, it describes the thing the guy has on his head like it's this giant metal cage. And I felt like I was reading a Saw movie, right? Like I was waiting for his head to be ripped open or something. It was like, but then in the show, he's wearing basically a dunce cap with writing on it, right? To indicate like the writing meant something. And I was like, is that what they meant? Like, did the translation miss that? The other thing, the main point I was trying to get to is that there feels like there's an idea that you might like, that might be trying to, you might be trying to approach. And you're trying to get from A to B. Like, you have this great idea, but you're trying to get your characters to move through the story logically and with the proper motivation and emotion to make it so that the reader can take the journey with them, right? But while I was reading it, it felt like, and this is just going to be this, it's just going to, I don't know, 25 years of Lego. It's just going to stand there like that. Why is this saying flip this around? Oh, you can flip it around and display it whichever way you want. Okay. In moving from A to B to C, in describing this world that they're in, it felt like there was no motivation from the characters. It was like reading a Wikipedia article. It was like reading an encyclopedia. Then this happened. Then this happened. Then this happened, right? I wasn't led by the characters through the story. The characters were basically going, then this happened. Then this happened. And you're like, okay, well, and in that process, some of the, and then this happened, did not relate back to what just happened. Like, there were so many of these leaps that were scientific in some cases, personality in some cases, some emotionally, but like they just took these giant kind of non sequiturs into like something that was very important. And they're like, huh? That just happened. That was hugely important. Do you see? And you're like, no, I don't. Why is that important? And how did you get there from where you were just here? So it just felt like it was this like staccato, especially toward the end. Like, I felt like he was really reaching at the end. The basic idea was fun. Like, I like the basic idea of the story, and I'm not going to, you guys should read it or watch it or whatever, but I'm wondering if the westernization of the story on Netflix will fill in some of those holes where the direct translation maybe missed. So we'll see how it goes. But all right, so enough talk of that. That was the 3-body problem. That was my review of the book of the 3-body problem. I haven't read the other two. There's more books in the series. So here's your, so I'm gonna lower this camera. I should be able to lower it a little bit so it gets a little better view. Here's your MIDI scale Corellian Corvette, otherwise known as the Tantive 4. The blockade runner, as seen at the beginning of episode 4, A New Hope. Really kind of cool. I like the little details, like one of the little sensor plugs at the bottom's missing or was changed out. I'm very excited to see the other 2 ships in this series. For comparison, here are your Nebulon frigate. And now I'm realizing I probably should have left this up a little bit. A little bit more. There we go. So here's the other 2 that are pretty recent. Your Corellian Corvette, your Nebulon frigate, your Executor. Your Executor, you can see the little tiny Star Destroyer. So these are not to scale with each other, but this is technically what's called the MIDI scale. And this is a little big for the MIDI scale. I remember the Star Destroyer we got was about this big. The Millennium Falcon was probably about that big. They're a good chunky size. I really like this size, and I really hope they do more of them. So yeah, $80, 650 pieces. About 150 pieces short of what it should be at $80. So I feel like this could have been better at about $70. So if you want to wait and get it on sale at some point, I'm sure it'll be on sale. Get it on Amazon, something. Get it with points. So it's about $60. So it would make more sense, but it's pretty good. There's no figures. It does have stickers. But I think the stickers probably make the set a little worth it. In this case, I don't know why the stand has these nice little exhaust things, but it's the same as this stand. The stands are the same. So there you go. All right. That's the sets that I have to build. Sunday, I believe I'll be back. Doing what I don't know. Let's say that I'll work more on the Degrassi house because I want to get that done. It'll be a nice chill Sunday morning, just kind of going through a mock and kind of putting it into the program. And we'll just chill. And then I don't have any new sets coming in anytime soon. So once we're done with the design of that, we can maybe even start on like some more Q2 stuff. So we'll see how that goes. But thanks for hanging out with me Thursday night. You guys have a good weekend. Stay safe, stay dry, play well, build some stuff, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.